This conference
First
will
of all,
now be recorded.
did you get a chance to kind of like look at the or maybe do some practice on this one? Anyone tried anything?
No, sir. Created the account, but
No?
not the storage account. Created the account, but not the storage account.
Okay, no worries. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the discussion which we had yesterday, right, regarding the file share as well as the storage thing, kind of like, have you maybe do you have any questions on that one? Are you clear? Should we revisit that?
While you were telling, like we are able to understand, but if we try, like it would be difficult, sir. So if there would be a practical approach, like if you give us opportunity to create the accounts while on the class, that can help more.
Perfect. I'm actually aligned with that one. I want that, if you ask me. Surely. So yeah, let's make that practice, definitely. So maybe if you want, you can share your screen and I will help you guys. I think that's the perfect way, and that's what I want.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So you want to share your screen and then go ahead?
Sure, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, I
Okay, I got
allowed
the.
you to share your screen. And if you guys are okay, actually, I can ask someone to share the screen because I don't want everybody to every time Gopinath only share the screen, right? I want others also to really participate and get things done because guys, if you do it live along with others, believe me, the experience and knowledge you will get, it's remarkable. Otherwise, you are doing alone, you will definitely not have any, kind of like the confidence, or maybe if you face any problem, you'll not be able to fix that one itself. Very good. We can see your screen. I hope others can also see the screen. Perfect. Okay. So let's get started. Let's create click on storage account.
Yeah, I have already
Arun,
clicked on storage account,
your
sir.
voice is breaking.
Gopinath, yeah. Okay.
Karthi, your
Now
voice is
create,
breaking.
click on create.
Yes, sir.
Voice is breaking. 1 minute. Guys, is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Yes. So first thing what you're going to do, you're going to create a resource group. If you already have a resource group, that's fine. Otherwise, create a new resource group. Just click on create new. Below
Yeah,
that,
I
you
have
have
clicked
an option
on
to create.
I
No,
have
no, no,
clicked
no.
on
That is
create a account.
storage account. That's fine. But in the storage account, you have to
Below.
provide two main things, right? One is the subscription, another one is a resource group. So when
Resource
you are
group.
going to
Okay.
create a resource group, because you don't have any resource group, there is an option below that only. Just click somewhere side. Yeah, create new.
Okay.
Click on that. Provide a name and always start your name with something like RG hyphen. Now, when I talk about RG hyphen, or maybe SA hyphen or something, that means it's a naming standard. Okay, in an
Okay.
organization, nobody really gives something like a storage account or test storage account. No, you should not really give it. Even though if you want to really provide a storage account, you always start with the short form of the service, which what is the service, and then hyphen. Maybe you can put up something like a project name, right? So you can say project one, and then for that project one you can mention saying that a dev or test or QA, whatever you want, hyphen QA. So that way you will understand that this particular resource group belongs to that project and in that environment. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
You can make it dev.
Sorry, I didn't know. Project one hyphen.
Project one hyphen dev. Now follow one thing. Either you put everything in a small letter or everything in a capital letter. So a resource
Oh,
group always should be in a capital
okay.
letter.
Always capital. Okay.
Everything. Yeah. So it's a practice. It's not mandatory, but it's a practice which I want you to follow.
Okay. Can I click on OK, sir?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, now put up a storage account. Now here there is one more thing which you really provide when you are creating a storage account. That time you cannot provide the higher the uppercase. It should be all lowercase and no numbers, only characters.
Okay.
You put up a character and then again start with something like SA. You can say project PROJECTONE1. You can put up like this ONE1 Dave. Okay, that's it. Leave it. Let's see if you have something like this. You have that availability.
Yes, sir.
It should show you the right mark there. Okay, fine. Now change the region. Make it anything like South India
South
or
India.
North India. Yeah, click on that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Scroll down.
Hmm.
Keep standard and everything is fine. Redundancy, geo redundancy. You can keep it geo redundant or you can create a local redundant. Okay, so we can really
Okay.
go with the local redundant for now. Click on this. Click on advanced. Next. Perfect. Now we will keep it something like this because everything is, we don't want to touch it here. Scroll down, click on networking. Next, networking. I want to keep it enabled for the public access. That's why I'm keeping it public access. Keep it like that.
Okay.
Click on next, data protection.
Okay.
Okay. This is fine. By default, we can keep it this one. Now click on encryption.
Okay.
Again, this encryption is by default enabled with the Microsoft managed key, which is okay. Okay,
Hmm.
let's go ahead. So that means Microsoft is by default encrypting this, even though you selected, but it is also giving you an option that in case if you want your own key, okay, you can
Hmm.
select that one. Otherwise, you can use the Microsoft key. That's fine. So that means eventually your data will be secured, encrypted. Click on review.
Okay.
Okay, now we can see that okay, it is kind of like doing a final validation. Click on create.
Okay.
Perfect.
Status shows as accepted. It says
Yeah,
your
go to
deployment is
yes, yes. Go to
go to
resources.
this.
Click on resources. Go to resources.
Okay.
Okay, now you are able, you have created your storage account, right? Now, once the storage account
Yeah.
is created, you can now go to the services which is provided by storage account. So let's go to the containers. Click on containers.
Okay.
Okay, now you're going to create two containers. One is public container, another one is a private container. Click on container. So here you're going to create a private first.
Okay.
Just name it as a private. Keep it small. Don't mix again. Don't ever mix
Okay,
in like small or capital, because that will be confusing, right? When you are talking about the programming, you have to make sure that either you are using full underscore, the upper case or lower case, like that.
got
Okay,
it,
now
sir.
create. Now it is not allowing you to create a public access. Why? Because we haven't really selected the anonymous access allowed for this storage
Mhm.
account. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna enable that one. How can we really enable? So left side, scroll down and go to the configuration. Go down, go to configuration. Yes, in the configuration you should see allow blob anonymous access. Enable that one.
Okay.
Save it. Now just refresh one more time. Go back to the overview. Refresh one more time. Go back to overview. Go back to the overview or refresh that entire page. That is also fine. Entire page.
Should I go to overview, sir?
Yes. Now go to overview. Okay. And maybe now go back to the containers one more time. Okay. Now click on new container plus container. Now you see the anonymous access enabled, right? Now you provide this as a public. Now private instead of private. No, no, no. Wait. Instead of private, enable it for the container. Go back. Go down. You can enable it at the public no, in that selection, select the anonymous access level. Can you please select now below section?
Anonymous.
Yes, select that one.
Uh, okay.
Select and then select the container or blob. So if you select the blob, so individual blob, that means all the objects which you are going to upload, individual
Mm.
object, you can really make it public, or you can make it containers, like based on the access. Once you give the container access, you can provide the container access. So let's do the container here. Click on container and then says create. Okay. Now you have two containers, right? One is the
Yeah.
private and then another one is the public. Now let's do
Public.
one thing. Let's upload files individually into both the containers, like public and private.
Okay.
Click on public. No, no, no. Just click on that. It should be a link enabled. Exactly. Click on that. So it will go here. Now upload. Click on upload. There's an option. Yes, upload. Yes. Now browse the files. So drag and drop the file which you have in your local environment. You can select the browse file. Click and select any file. Maybe you can go to pictures or anything which you have in case if you have any in this file, that's fine. You can select that file and you can upload.
Can I select this?
Select the image actually, a sample image, if you have anything, or maybe a normal text document, anything whatever you have.
Yeah.
Don't use your personal images. Maybe just use
Yeah.
any
Not the.
sample image if you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Select anything, yeah. So for example, select that one and then okay, open this. Perfect. Okay, now upload. Okay, you have uploaded this one. Now click on that image, the one which you selected. Okay, now here go to the copy the URL. So you have that type here, copy that and open a new tab in the browser. Yes, and paste it there.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, now okay, so now do the exact same thing for your private application,
Mhm.
private container. Go to the private container, close this all. No, no. In that one
Uh,
only, close this. There is a close button, right side close
this
button.
one.
Yes,
Okay.
close that. Okay, go back to the on the top. Actually, you have this home, and below that, yeah. Besides that, there is a bucket name. No, no, bucket name. Storage account name. Click on that. Yes, yes. Click on that. Yeah, go to the private now. Sorry, yeah, go to the private now, and then upload. Click on upload. Now you are uploading a file into the private container, right?
Mhm.
Click on browser.
Yeah.
Yeah, select the file, open, upload. Click on upload. Okay, we're done. Now click on the same file again one more time. Okay, copy the URL and paste it in the yes tab. Paste there. Okay. What's the
Yeah.
difference? So the difference is when you are creating a privately accessed container, definitely you will not be having a access to that particular image, whatever you are really put in. But in the public, by default, everything is allowed. That's why you will be able to create. So these are two different use cases which we are really going. But now, in
Okay.
case if I want to give an access to my private repository to some user, how can we really do that? So let's go back. Let's create a SaaS token. Click on there, click on generate SaaS token there. No, no, no. You are at the right place. You are at the right place. You go in there,
Okay.
you click on generate SaaS token. There is an
Uh,
option where you copied the URL, right? Above that, there is an option like generate
yeah.
SaaS token.
Yes. Yes.
Click on that.
Okay.
Okay. Now scroll down all the way, and because it's automatically taking like from 12/1/2000 for 24 8/22 to say like
Mhm.
4/22, okay, which is almost 8 hours. But you don't want to
Yeah.
really go with, you just say 9/22. Just mention 9/22 there. So just for 1 hour you want this token to be active. So instead of 4, make it 9. Yes, okay. Now generate a SaaS token and URL. No, no, no. AM, that's fine. Yes. That's fine. That's fine. AM is good. Generate SaaS token. Scroll down. Now copy that SaaS token URL. SaaS URL. The below one. The below one. Yes. Copy that entire. There is a button actually, tiny button at the end. If you just click on that, it will automatically copy that URL. Yes. Copy that. Now paste it
Yeah.
in the browser again in a new tab. Perfect. Okay. You can see
Yeah.
the exact same image which you have really uploaded. Now that image is also available because you have added the token for that. But this token is only valid for 1 hour. So in case if you provide this after 1 hour, nobody will be able to still access this application because you have a restrictions on that as well. Perfect. Now what
Okay.
we are going to do is download the Storage Explorer. Have you downloaded the Storage Explorer?
I don't think so.
Okay, no problem. Open a new tab. Let's quickly do that.
Yes. Shall I go to which site?
Search for Azure Storage Explorer. Download. Okay. Click on Storage Explorer. Click on download, something like that. It should be option. Okay. Click on that Storage Explorer.
Can I click on this link?
No, no, no.
Azure
That's a
Microsoft.
create your account. Close. Okay, 1 minute. Storage. This is a storage service actually. Scroll down. Scroll down. Click on. Go up. Go up. Why it's not showing? Yeah, get started with Storage Explorer. Can you just click on this? Get started with Storage Explorer, the second link. Yes, click on that. Download and install. Click on download and install. There only overview prerequisite download and install.
Okay.
There is an
Yeah.
option. Yes, click on that. 1 minute. I will provide you the link, direct link. 1 minute. Okay, so you can actually go to this link. I'm just pasting it in a chat. It's not here. I'm pasting it in our go to
Okay.
meetings chat.
Yeah.
Go to meeting. You can see that there's an icon G at the end.
Uh,
Okay. Otherwise, type in the browser itself. It's very simple. HTTPS azure.microsoft.com. Yes, already there. Now in and slash in en hyphen in slash products slash products slash storage hyphen explorer.
again slash storage, sir, or after
Slash.
storage?
No, slash. After storage, there is a slash, and then say
Okay.
slash storage hyphen explorer. Perfect. Enter. Okay. Download now. You have an option here. Download now.
Yes. Windows.
Windows, right? You are running Windows.
Yeah,
Click on
Windows.
Windows.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Click on open file. Now it will ask you to download. Just wait. Install for users or install for me. You can select anything. Yes, I agree. I accept the agreement and install. Next. Okay, meanwhile it's getting installed. Go back to your Azure. Yes, okay. Now close this one. Everything, close everything, and go back to your storage account. Okay, go back to storage account. Click on that. Perfect. Go to storage account. Click on storage account. Okay. Now there you will have to actually get the access keys. So there is an option in the middle section. Just scroll down in the middle section. In the middle section. So you have a top left, middle, and the right section. So like that one. So middle section where you can see overview, activity, tags, and everything. The middle section. Yes. Scroll
Yeah.
down. Get familiar yourself, guys. So use it as much as possible so you know that how this is very simple. Believe me, this is the simplest UI actually I've ever seen in the cloud computing, at least. Scroll up. Yes. Click on access keys. Click on access keys. There is an option to create an access key. Scroll down or scroll up now. Scroll up. Go slow. Yes. Hold on. In the security and networking, scroll down. You have a sections there, right? You can see on top you have a data storage, security, networking. So click on access keys here. I think you have to select that one. Can you just click on that icon? There is one ticking going on. It is asking your permission in the taskbar where you are trying to install in the taskbar. Yes, on the right side. That after that, yes, click on that or click on the explorer again. I think it is asking you some permissions. Yes, install. Next.
The two times is got getting installed.
Oh, okay, cancel this.
No, only this is the one happening, sir.
This is the
Only
one
one
happening,
this.
right? Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it started
And
to pull.
RK, I had a call with my storage team yesterday. So they confirmed that they are using the agent copy tool to migrate the data from on-premises to Azure cloud.
Sorry, what you said?
Yesterday we discussed about tool, right? The data migration tool.
Yes.
So our company using agent copy. There is a
AZ
tool
copy.
called,
AZ
yeah, yeah,
copy.
yeah.
Okay. AZ copy.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they made a small script. Through that, they're
Hmm.
migrating data from on-premises to cloud environment.
Right. So AZ
Uh,
copy is also provided by Microsoft. Yeah. Click on finish. AZ copy is also a very small tool actually, which is provided by Microsoft. Yes.
there is a bulk of hundreds of blob stories are there.
Exactly. Yes.
Through
There must be.
SAS, yeah, through SAS generation, how we generated, right? SAS token. Through that, they're trying
Okay.
to migrate the data.
Exactly. Exactly. I think
And
that's the way
and
it should
RK,
be.
yeah, yeah, and RK, this complete storage, how can we access via URL? Storage now this guy created, right? Gopi.
Yes. So we can
If
access like complete storage account you mean or a container because you cannot access the
complete
complete storage.
storage.
Complete storage
Okay.
only storage explorer, and this is what I'm going to show you now. So go back
Okay,
again.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so now you have installed the storage explorer, right? Now what you do, you
Yes.
you copy this access keys. Okay, and then you have to put up these access keys back into your storage this storage explorer. So go back to the storage explorer one more time. No,
We're on
storage
storage
explorer,
account.
storage explorer. In the downloaded one, the application is you just download, right?
Okay. Yeah.
No, application, I mean.
Down,
Yes,
All right.
down.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Now here, what you do, you connect to Azure resources. Click on that connect to Azure resources. Okay. You can connect to the entire Azure, but I want to give you a specific that how you can really connect to your Azure resources. So click on storage account and service. Okay, now here it is asking you to create the connection string, shared signature, or account name and key. Click on account name and key. Now, what is the difference here? Say like in case if you want to connect to complete account, you can create connect to the complete account. Okay, if you want to create connect to only specific files or containers, you can really do that. But because we are going to connect to the entire storage account, this is the option which you can really provide. But from the security perspective, you will only get the basic things. Now here you can provide saying that display name should be something which it can be unique, like it could be something which you want to provide to your customer. So you can really provide here an option saying that this is the name should be anything, like you can mention SA hyphen test, for example. Storage account test. Test, not desk. Account name, now you have to copy the account name from the Azure portal and paste it here along with access key. Okay, so copy the storage account name. Only click on that. No. Here, click on that
Yeah.
icon. Correct.
Yeah.
Go back. Paste it here in the account name section. Very good. Now go back again. Copy the show the click on show and key. Copy the key and paste it here. Okay. Now click on next. Perfect. Connect. Okay. So you got the connection done. Now you should be able to access your storage account here.
So expand storage accounts.
Expand that. Yeah. Click on expand or double click on that storage SA test key. Double click on that.
Where's it?
No. In
SA
the
left hand side.
left side section, you can see the SA test key, right? Click on that. Yeah, below that, under the storage account, now you have a SA test key which is
Yeah,
enabled.
yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
open that. Yes, click on the blob container, double click on that, so it will open in a side, right side. Close this get started, otherwise it's not showing. Okay, double click. Okay, no problem. Expand that one more time. Blob container. Click on public or a private, whatever you have. Double click on that. Yes, so it's opening here, right? Now you can expand this Explorer also, so you can see the big screen into this one. Yes, perfect. Now you can kind of like go ahead and upload this one. Now what we have actually done here, right? We have connected with the complete storage account, so you can really access your not only blobs, but you can also access file shares. You can have queues and everything. So you can manage it from here, right? Because I have provided you the access key. You are now the owner or kind of like the the admin for this particular storage account.
Okay.
Make sense? So now you can also
Yes.
create a file share. You can kind of like play around with this one, and that's how we can really
Mm.
go along with this one.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Any other? Ramana, you good? Anurag,
Yeah,
Meghna,
super,
Ashok.
super, super. Yeah,
Perfect.
and
Very good.
open the storage account, Gopi. Open the storage account. Go back cloud. Go back to cloud.
Cloud. Azure. Yeah.
Yeah, here. So go to home page. This click on storage account. Go to yeah storage account. Yeah, again click on this storage account.
The name of the storage account. Click on the name of the storage account.
Down, down.
What do you want
Yeah,
to do?
yes, yes. There is one more Explorer is there, Arki, if you see that.
Yeah,
Not,
exactly. So again, there is a Explorer which is already there. But say like in case if I want to give you the
ah,
Explorer access, what I have to also
mm,
give you is the Azure access.
correct, correct. Got it.
Yeah, that I don't want. I don't want to
Mm.
give you Azure access. I want to only give you the storage account access. Only
What
one
happened?
service.
Someone here, Mama. Hmm.
Clear, clear.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, okay, that's how we can really, provide the information here. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, sir.
great.
Very good. Okay. So now as we go with this one, there are a couple of services, right? Other services also we have in a storage account. One is a table storage and another one is a queue storage. Now we will kind of like again jump from these storage account thing, and we will talk about store table as well as the queue storage when we will get into something like a application development phase. Right now we are not really into the application development phase, right? That's why creating table, and I gave you a brief about what is table, what is relational table, what is non-relational table. That's how we can really do this. Now this table, okay, the table storage which we have in the maybe I'll stop here and you can stop it here. Thank you very much, Gopi. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so we have seen that. Okay, we have created it. Now when I'm going to create the kind of like then as I mentioned, you also have the storage browser here which can actually allow you to really again do the almost not everything, but yes, I think you can upload files, you can create a folder, you can see everything in one go. So that's the possibility which is already there. However, in case if you want to really have a better understanding, better kind of like the control, then you should be really using the storage account here. Fine. Now along with this one we also have one of the option as a table here and then the queue here. Okay, now what is the use case of these things? First of all, if you see, this is created for the development, or I would not say this is for the production, not production ready, but this is having a very specific use case because it is actually allowing you to create one by one table. It is mostly for the table kind of like creations. Okay, and when I talk about queues, I'll just give you a brief, and then we will get more deeper about these terminologies when we start developing an application. But why to really use queues and tables or databases actually in the application? Let me give you that understanding. Okay. So yesterday I've actually kind of like, gave you one thought about how Netflix really using and how it is really using the edge location. So what was the edge location we discussed? Remember, what was the purpose of edge location? Remember?
Edge locations reduce the latency.
Right. Why? How? By using something like a caching mechanism, right? Remember that word, caching. When we talk about caching, it is to reduce the actual work. So what we are actually doing, that we have an actual database here. This is my database, or this is my actual bucket or container, okay? And I am creating one more container near to my user, so the load on my actual container will be reduced, right? That's what my purpose is. So people will always go to the nearest thing, and they will have a exchange. So I have a limited user, they will connect it to this one, so I can create a multi n number of storage, things, which is also easy for me to really maintain, and it is just maintaining the cache of it. That's it. The purpose of this edge locations are like, cache of it. So I have one availability zone, I might have 100 cache edge location, and that is happening. Okay, so you have one data center and 100 of edge locations, because they are smaller things, right? You can actually put up just one single big box of storage in one building, maybe in one office, and then you can just run it as an edge location. That's how it is working. Now in a same thing which happen when you are really creating something like a database. So say like you have a database here, okay, you have a DB. Inside this database you are going to also have tables, right? Because database alone is nothing. It's also have a tables, and then you might be having hundreds of tables in one database. That's possible, right? You can have like n number of tables you can really go with. Okay, this is the ideal scenario of applying or developing any application. And whenever you are developing any application, what you do, you create a backend for this application. Okay, and in that backend you create some models. Generally we generally call it as a models. Okay, now, and then you create a processor, MVC material, and you create a controller. Okay, now this backend is actually sending a demand to controller. This controller is connected to your model, and model is connected to your table. This is how generally everything really works out. And everything, whenever you talk about the model view controller, you might have heard about MVC framework, something like this, right? And every company, every technology really goes in this particular way. So they always go with controller. Like any application, your backend application will have controller, will go into the model, and model is connected to one table. Exactly same terminology applies to every table, individual table, right? So say like you have 1 minute, you have these two things, and then you start creating this below for every individual tables. This is how you will be going. And backend is having multiple controllers. Okay, you can create controller for one table, controller for another table, and that is how your application really works out. Now what happened, what this backend is really doing, whenever a request comes, right, from a user, whenever a request comes from the front end, okay, this front end will send that request to the backend. Backend will analyze that what kind of a data I'm looking for, and in the backend it is understand that okay, which controller I should really go with. So for example, I have a user ID here, right, a user table here, I have a order table here, I have something like a product table here. I'm creating one e-commerce application, I'm just giving you, right? Say like I have multiple things here, I have reviews here, I have comments here, and I have cost here. Say like, okay, now when I'm talking about all these things, or all the things whatever we have. Maybe I can have something different here. Maybe let's keep it cost as of now. But say like in case if I my front end, my user is looking for all the products whatever I have. Okay, so what is going to do is my front end is sending request to backend. Backend understand that it is asking for the product. This request will go to this controller because this is a product controller, because this is connected with the product table. Okay, and I have to name it like that only. So controller will always have something like a user. Okay, user controller or a order controller, something like this. And then I have this user controller. So everything is again aimed like that, so I can understand that's what. Then here is a product controller. Okay, same thing like here. This is a product model. Okay, and this is my product table, like that way. So it is a product table. Okay, now the request goes in this manner. Whenever I go, I get the information and I send it back to this model will send it back to controller will send it back to backend, and backend will send it back to the front end. This is how your entire mechanism works. And this backend should be so powerful that not only just one front end is sending the information, there are hundreds of actually kind of like front end which are sending the information, and every request it will carefully review. It will understand that where which controller I should really go and fetch the information. Now this happens in a relational database. Why? Because I'm creating one database and I have all these tables and created, and they are interconnected. So maybe user is connected with product or order, for example. Okay, user is connected with order is connected with products because I will have a products here. Product is also connected with reviews and also connected with comments and maybe also connected with the cost, right? So there is an interrelationship which is there inside my tables. Okay, this is how any database, anything really works out. Now what happens if I ask you that there is an this is what is happening and everything is looking fine, but then there is a concept like a queue. Now why this queue is really coming into the picture? Any guesses? What do you think is the queue doing here?
Kind of notifications, messages.
Okay, messaging queue, yes. What else? Have you heard about RabbitMQ or something like that?
Yes, yes.
Right? So what happens, when you talk about a queue, there is also mechanisms actually which is really come into the things, right? RabbitMQ is one of the thing. Kafka is also one of the thing, which is really using very very popular services. Now what happens, as I mentioned, that currently I'm just talking about one front end. But imagine you have millions of front end because millions of users are connected to say like Amazon.com. And if a millions of users are connecting with your backend, do you think this controller and everything will be fine? It's okay. But the processing is also depend on the tables or a database. Okay. In this case, you don't want to bombard. Say like because there are a lot of users who are trying to connect to the product table and they're trying to get the information from the table. Now, every time, what this table is doing, every time this table is providing the exact same information until there is some change happen to that product, right? Say like I am buying one iPhone. Today the iPhone cost is 1 lakh rupees. Tomorrow it might go 1 lakh 10,000. Tomorrow it might go 1 lakh 20,000, and maybe it can come down because cost is always, or price of that particular thing is always changing. Okay, there are some kind of like items which may not really change. For example, iPhone, initially they know that we will be selling only for 1,25,000. That's it. For maybe next 1 month the price is not going to change. So that means that's a static price, that's not going to change. Now once I have the static price, what I can really do is, instead of sending it to my table directly, I can actually create a queue. Okay, and this queue will also ensure that it is not getting bombarded with my databases or my tables. Correct? Now when I talk about bombarding, that means what? That means I can actually forward a request to queue, and queue will ensure that it is going to send it to my product table, and it is also taking the proper response back and sending that response back to my model or a controller. Now why we really need this mechanism? Because what happens, say like when you are querying one table from here to here, okay, First of all, if my controller or my model get actually in a program, it gets stuck until it finishes this job. It cannot start new job. Okay, nowadays, because it's a very fast job processing, because it's happening in milliseconds, so you are sending information, partition table is giving you fast data. That's why you may not really observe that one. But if you go real granular, you imagine that every time, every second, this model is sending hundreds of requests to this table, and this table is responding to all the hundreds of requests every second. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about every minute, or every minute you can have like millions of requests. Okay, sometimes because of this, your load on the data table or a database is getting increased. So to fulfill that one, what you have to do is you have to also buy a very big database, or you have to provide a big capacity of your database. That's another thing. And what it leads to, it leads to two things. One is, because you are looking for a higher performance here, right? I'm talking about a companies or a application which is having millions of users. And nowadays you have a lot of applications which are having millions of users. Lot of application, imagine, like a lot of applications. Now when you have this one, so you need a performance to support your million users is equal to cost. As simple as that. Because to meet this performance, you have to increase the capacity, you have to increase all these things whatever you are talking about. So how can I really reduce or maybe improve the same performance, but I can have a lower cost? For lower cost, what I can do, I can actually put up something like a queue mechanism here in between. What this queue mechanism will do, first of all, it will uh, become a mediator here, and it will queue things based on whatever you really required. So what is going to happen now? Our controller is sending one request, another request, another request, another request. So it's waiting at here. It's a queue. So when you go and go to anything, right? Maybe a bank or anything, what you do? You form a queue. Okay, instead of everybody is bombarding at one time, you're forming a queue, you're going to the counter, and you are submitting your request, you're getting the money. For example, you're going to submit or deposit the money or withdraw the money. What you do, you form a queue, you go there, you give a check. Okay, and maybe the controller, whoever the tailor is there, he will just validate everything details, and he will give the money, and then you go, because you want that transaction to really happen in a very secure and a proper way. You don't want someone is coming in a hurry and providing information, half information is there, and you're really done. Now, in case if you know that there are 10 people actually who are coming with the same check and from the same company with the same amount, what you do, you kind of like know that okay, there are 10 people coming, and you will form the queue, and you will kind of like start giving them all the things, because you are using a cache, for example. That might not happen in a tailing things, but tailor thing in a but application, yes, you can have that information. So for example, when my queue is there, I will send my request to my queue. Queue will start forming one by one, all the queues here. And this controller will kind of like wait for that particular queue. Again, it is very fast. So don't worry that, that means I am removing this thing. That means my process will be slow. No, that process will not slow. But that process will ensure that your transaction is getting complete. It will not break in between. In case if something happens to my table, still I have this data in my queue. In case if something happens during my transaction, okay, still unless this queue will ensure that all the transaction is really going to happen. For example, if you are going to the tailor and you given a check to the tailor, and in between tailor is gone. Okay, now what? But you know that okay, tailor will come back, he has your check. Okay, you are at the queue, next time when he will come back, he will understand that okay, he might ask you some more additional details, he will provide your ID card and everything, and he will give you the money. As simple as that. So you are forming that process, okay, using this queue. So there are two advantages of queue, is that instead of bombarding, and in case if something goes wrong, right, in case if something goes wrong with your table or your database, first of all, it is ensuring that high availability. Okay, so you have a high availability system here, HA, you can generally call it as a HA. Then you have a cost, or maybe you have a same performance. Okay, then you are reducing the cost. because you don't actually rely on the database, and database are really, really, really expensive. Whereas in case if you ask heard about RabbitMQ or Kafka, these are all open source technologies. Okay, you just have to pay for the infrastructure, but they are still very, very good in terms of that one. Okay, now when we talk about this one, the industry practices or industries actually using some of the technologies as I mentioned. Either they are using something like a RabbitMQ. Okay, the company again, it's a tool, RabbitMQ, or there is one more thing like a Kafka, which is very, very popular. Okay, and then there is also a concept like, you have a contributor and you have a kind of like a receiver and contributor, listener. There is also different terminologies actually you have in the listener and contributor, or subscriber. There are multiple things. Pub sub, you might have actually heard about something like a pub sub, publisher and subscriber. So publisher is someone who is really publishing the data, and subscriber is someone who is reading that particular data. We'll get into this more detail as we really move on, but that's the main concept. Now this is, again, as I mentioned, this is all the production thing, all about production things. How this storage account really plays the picture, and why storage account is giving you this flexibility. Now the advantage of using your storage account queue as well as the tables, okay, is to eliminate the production readiness, or in case if you want to quickly start. Okay, quickly start, you have an application and you want to quickly start with these services. So you can create table, or you can create a queue. Okay, and you can then start processing that, or start implementing that in an application as a starting point. I will not just recommend that to really, kind of like create that as a full blown, use that as a full blown application. But if you have a mid scale application, right? If you have a smaller application which you can really go ahead, you can start creating that one. Perfect. Now I will go back to my thing. We are in a browser already. You can either create a table here. As I mentioned, I've created a table. For example, when I create a table here, there are two things which you need to really provide. Okay, the first thing is a partition key, and the second thing is a row key. Now when we talk about partition key and row key, this is where things will really become interesting, because you have to plan it, that how you want to retrieve a data. Database is always designed in, and should be designed in a way that how you want to consume the data of that one. The more complex scenario you will really create, the more problems you will have for retrieving that particular data. So for database schema, you should be very, very, kind of like make it very simple in terms of reading that particular data from that. So here, when we are going to create a table, as it's asking me to create two options. Okay, it is asking me for the partition key, which is pk, and then it is asking me row key, which is rk. Okay, and then it can really provide a name or whatever you really want. Now what happens, say like if I want to create an order table here, like I have as I mentioned, I have these three tables, say user, order and product, for example. Now what I want to actually list down here when I'm creating a table, and I now want to create a table for order. Okay, so like order, or I'll say user, for example. I'm just taking a user. Now imagine a scenario where I will be having 1 million users here. What will be my most searching criteria in case if I have 1 million user? Because I will be having some fields inside this user table. Those fields will be something like user ID is by default. For example, you are having a user ID, which is okay. Apart from that, username, my password, my location, okay, my mobile number. Now tell me, out of these four, which one do you think is a very good for searching? What do you think?
Mobile number. Mobile
Employee
Huh?
number.
ID, employee
No,
ID.
no, not employee ID. I'm talking about collective thing, the collective data. I want to have a group of people who I can actually kind of like combine, because that will be my a primary, you can say primary purpose of creating this user ID. User ID, username, password is one thing, that's fine, but that will only give me one kind of a record. But in case if I'm wanted to have a group of records, then how can they really make it? From
Location.
which field? Location, exactly.
Location.
Location, because location is something in this particular table. Location is something which I want to query most of the time, or can really give me the exact details about, okay, location is something which I can really take out from this particular. So my partition key should always be location, because when you are creating something like a, something like a table, and when you are searching this table, your location, and this is what the use case actually, which is for your table only. In a normal tables you can have anything, that doesn't really matter, but table is really created for a specific use case. And that specific use case is you are dumping all the data, and when you're dumping that data, you want to have one partition key. That partition key is something which you want to make it for indexing. Indexing is a concept actually inside your data, inside the table or a databases, which will help you to quickly query your data. So I can start with location here. And what should be my row key? My row key should be user ID. That should be my things here, right? That is how I will really create. And then maybe the next thing, it should be name. And then I can really create something like, or a username. I will make it like a username, but I will never use it for username and a password. Why? Because this is a general database table. It is not secured. If I give an access to anyone to my storage account, they can easily get this one. The biggest disadvantage of this one is that it is giving me all the row columns. I can easily export this, and I can use it as a CSV file, and I can give it to anybody. So this is not a very highly secured database structure or a table structure. That's why it is also should be used temporarily, and should be used only for the data which you feel that you just trying to collect for some, like forms, for example. You want to create a form okay, where you are just collecting information from a basic information, a username, email, password. That's not a basic information nowadays. Okay, but still you are collecting some information, you are getting some votes, you are getting something. So for that purpose, you can really kind of like see this one. So you are creating a voting information, for example. So you can create a voting where you can just put up a location, the person, and the person name, your mobile number, your email address, and what is your voting, yes or no. Okay, and then you can really see here, you can see something like a username, email, mobile. I'm just talking about something like a mobile, and then he is saying yes or no, or voting. So for example, and voting should be only yes or no here. Then what I can do is I can create something like this. I can keep on adding data here, I can keep on adding. Okay, say like location here should be, where I'm actually creating this one. So location is my city, or say like something like Hyderabad, for example. Okay, username is one, user ID row key is one, and say like RK, my mobile is something like this, and voting is yes. Okay, now I can go again. I can say HBD 2, and then maybe YK, and then something like this, and they say like no. Okay, now I can go something like, say like Mumbai, and then I can say 3. I can say again something, and again say something, and you say yes. Now this is a very basic table. But if I have 100 or 1 million entries like this, what I can really do out of this? What do you think? What kind of a data I can really collect out of this? Any thoughts?
To know how many people have voted or how many have not voted, and region wise.
Exactly. So even though with this small information, I can understand that how many people said yes, how many people said no. I can also get how many people, or maybe if I add one more column here, right? If I add a gender here, for example, and if I start getting the gender here, male, okay, and then female, and maybe say like male here. Now, if I add one more thing here, date of birth or age, okay, if I start adding say like 30, 20, okay, 25. Can you imagine with this information, with just this information, and say like I have 1 million records. Now, Now my data is definitely very, very big. What I can do, I can understand that which location, how many people really voted. First of all, how many people voted, total number of people. In that total number of people, how many said yes or no? In that total number of people, I said, okay, how many people were, like, male or female? What was the ratio? What was the age group? What they say? Like, I can say in Hyderabad, okay, male which are between 30 to 20, what is their preference? They are saying yes or no, or they are saying, they're saying yes or they're saying no. So with this information, if I have lot of data, I can really do this. So this is the use case for actually creating your table. If you have these kind of use case, even though this is giving you a very big data, okay, but you can really put up something like this, because which is having no secured information, nothing is there. And exactly same thing when happens when we really go with the queuing mechanism. Queue is also something like that. So when you create a queue, if I go back, so far with me, guys, are you following me? Does this make sense?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. So,
Okay. Perfect. Now, so this is something which we can really start. Again, as I mentioned here, I can start something like a location. I can say HYB. This is my partition key, and I can say something like a one, for example. Okay, and I can add property. I can start something like a name, and here I can provide RK. It is automatically taking a string, and here I can say mobile, or not mobile, but I'll say just gender, for example. Here again, I will say male, and maybe age, say like 35, and then say like I go with something like voting. And here I can also have some options, more options. And here when I talk about 35, because this is a number, I can actually select number here. I can go with something like a okay, integer. Okay, so I can go with string or I can go with integer. And then I can also go with boolean, because voting can be only yes or no, so I can just say yes or no. Okay? And this is, or maybe true or false, something like this. They are asking for true or false. Boolean is just true or false. Voting, true means yes or false means no, as simple as that. And maybe I can go ahead and add one more thing which we have actually added. So gender, voting, mobile, age, right? This is something which we are just going with the username and all, and that's it. I've inserted. Now I can start adding more and more data here. And when I start adding this more and more data, then I can really start adding filters here. Now I can see that, okay, how many people really, which column I want to really see. I want to go with partition, and I want to really value, in case if I want to see some values, that okay, this is the value I want to really see. So I can only put up a value here. So like I add one more entity here. So I can see, say you, okay, so this is my partition key. Partition key is always a location, so I'm saying Mumbai. And so like I am saying 2, I can go ahead, and this is because a non-relation database, I can really put up anything, but I'm just putting up 2 here. Name could be SG, okay, and say like female, and age is something like 32, for example, and voting is no, or true, false. Okay, and I'm just inserting this one. Okay. Now, if I want, I can actually filter out from this particular information. I can use some advanced filters here, right? It is also giving me an option, but this is not the way, and I can really see something like this. So I can provide a partition key and value that is greater than 100, or I can really put up that one. I can really do this kind of a partitioning here. But say like in case if I want to go, I don't want to go here, I will just simply go add a filter here, and I want a column which is gender, or maybe a age, and this age should be not more than, when I talk about equal to or greater than, for example, I want to see all the people who are who are more than 30. Apply. I can see that, okay, these both are actually above 3 or above 30. Okay, I can also add some more filters here in case if I want to add, or on add, select people should be 30, and my gender should be string, and equal to I want male, and apply. Can you see? So this is how I can really go with granular details about putting up small things here. And this is a very good example for actually for using up our normal things. Okay, now exactly same thing which we go with the queue, you can also add queue and you can start adding some queue name. I will just give you quickly things what all things we can really do, but you can explore this more. Okay, sample, uh, smaller. Okay, and again you can also create a queue, you can create a message, and you can actually see this message because I am going to save this message, and then this message can be read up by someone else. So this is say like this is my message to put in the table. For example, I'm just putting on this. Now I can actually put up a message in any format. It can be JSON format, it can be any format, and I can start creating this one. Now this message is created. Now this message can be really used or read by some other people. And what is the kind of like the use case? We will see it in the application because you have to start reading these messages in the application. But this is a simple messaging or information which we are actually putting. That information you can then connect to other systems, but for that you need to really create an application. Okay, so I will give you more details about queue and everything. We will have the use case, and that time I will show you actually in the application. Make sense? Okay, guys.
Okay, sir.
Yes, yes,
Perfect.
okay.
Perfect. Okay, I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you are so far enjoying the class, and if you have anything, please let me know. I will definitely try to improvise. Apart from this, please do practice. Tomorrow, day after, we will be having a off, and we'll start on Monday with a new topic, which is virtual machines. Perfect.
Okay, okay, okay. Tomorrow will be off,
Thank.
right?
Yes, tomorrow will be off. Saturday, Sundays, I want you to really do some practice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay, man.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, bye, guys.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है ऐसे कैसे